Hi everyone, I'm Spiro and I work as a psychological wellbeing practitioner in Camden iCope. Camden iCope and Central and Northwest London Foundation Trust and I wanted to share a brief overview of anxiety and panic and the potential links that may exacerbate breathlessness. This is a very common occurrence that most, if not all of us, face from time to time. By the end of the video, I hope that you have a better understanding of how breathlessness and anxiety are closely linked. When we do anything that requires physical effort, our body needs more oxygen and energy, and so we tend to get out of breath. However, some people experience this even when they're not physically pushing themselves. They experience difficulties breathing comfortably or controlling their breathing. This is usually referred to as breathlessness. Breathlessness can occur suddenly or may develop gradually over the course of days, weeks, and even months. It can be challenging to control as it can impact all areas of our lives, from washing and dressing to how we can cope when we feel anxious or angry. There are many accompanying symptoms, such as the difficulty of catching one's breath, wheezing, very fast and shallow breaths, chest pain, skin color changes, cold skin, using other body parts to help you breathe like your upper chest, and even experiencing anxiety and panic. Shortness of breath can be a frightening experience. You may feel as if you're unable to breathe properly or get enough air into your lungs. It can feel as if you're choking or being smothered and might feel like you're passing out. These feelings can make you think that something worse is going to happen. It makes sense that breathlessness is accompanied by feelings of anxiety. When we feel anxious, we may experience lots of different physical symptoms that can be terrifying, like shortness of breath or hyperventilation. Some people worry that this might be linked to a more serious medical condition, like asthma or heart problems. But shortness of breath is a common symptom of anxiety and panic, and usually does not signal a larger medical problem. The shortness of breath that occurs during panic attacks and anxiety is often caused by a change in your normal breathing pattern. Take a moment and focus on your breathing. How does that feel? And what do you notice? Typically, we're not really conscious of our breathing. When panic and anxiety occur, our breathing may become shallower and more restricted. Instead of filling the lungs with full, complete breaths, we're taking quick and short breaths. Part of this experience is forgetting that shortness of breath is a common symptom of anxiety and rarely indicative of a more serious medical issue. If we catastrophize what this means, it can heighten feelings of fear and anxiety during a panic attack. During a panic attack, we activate our fight-or-flight response as we feel we're in danger. The fight-or-flight response is the innate survival mechanism that helps humans react to potential threats. It's believed this reaction helped our ancestors to either escape from or fight potential threats in their environment. Nowadays, this response may occur in reaction to stress caused by psychological threats and common issues like work deadlines, crowds, and even physical changes in our bodies. It's our body's automatic response to danger. It's accompanied by a series of dramatic physical changes designed to give you a burst of energy and strength. With the fight-or-flight response, physical changes happen and you're ready for action. Our bodies are preparing for a quick escape or combat, and so the accompanying physical sensations are focused on one of these two tasks. One of the first sensations people notice is a change in breathing pattern. Your breathing may become shallower, quicker, and more restricted. These changes can reduce the amount of carbon dioxide circulating through your blood. This reduction in carbon dioxide levels, in addition to shortness of breath, may contribute to additional physical sensations like chest pain, dizziness, and faintness. If you want to learn more about the fight-or-flight response and anxiety, please see our other video, linked below. Our respiratory function can be affected separately by anxiety and by breathlessness. Breathing difficulties can be unpleasant and uncomfortable, and it's common to become anxious or panicky. And as we mentioned before, when one feels anxious or panicked, our breathing pattern naturally tends to change, thus increasing or prolonging the breathlessness. People can find themselves stuck in a cycle of heightened anxiety and breathlessness. To illustrate this cycle, I'd like to introduce you to Tim. He experiences breathlessness on a daily basis when doing routine activities like washing up or cleaning the house. One day, Tim had just finished cleaning the house when he noticed feeling breathless. He started taking short breaths, but the air would not completely reach his lungs. At the same time, he started getting warm and felt pressure in his chest. He became anxious and scared. He thought that there might be something seriously wrong with him. He noticed he was feeling physically strange, his breathing was becoming shallower, and he was sweating and experiencing tingling sensations in his body. He became anxious and scared. He thought that there might be something wrong with him. He noticed he was feeling physically strange. His breathing was becoming shallower, and he was sweating and experiencing tingling sensations in his body. Tim was scared. He thought that something was going to happen to him, so he sat down on the floor as he was afraid he was going to faint and hit his head. He was still experiencing breathlessness, feeling hot and having tingling sensations in his body, but now he also felt a bit safer. Eventually, his breathing normalized and he felt better. However, now Tim becomes quite scared whenever he feels breathless. What Tim experienced can be described as a panic attack. Tim already knows that he has a pre-existing difficulty with his breathing. However, he started worrying about his breathlessness being linked with something more severe. This made him feel more anxious and scared, which triggered his fight or flight response. He started noticing the automatic bodily changes, like feeling warm and pressing his chest. He thought his fears were confirmed and that something more serious was happening to him. In turn, this increased his anxiety and more physical symptoms appeared. His immediate fear was fainting, and so he sat down on the floor, wherever he was, to prevent this from happening. This picture will help us understand a bit more about how a panic attack might start, and also how it can be maintained. Something might trigger your feeling of breathlessness. For example, Tim was pushing himself physically, so he felt breathless naturally. He started having worrying thoughts about the significance of these symptoms, like something's wrong with him, I might faint and I might hit my head. He started feeling even more anxious, panicky, so he experienced more physical changes, like his chest and tingling sensation in his body and feeling quite warm. Because he was feeling panicky and anxious, this also increased his breathlessness. As we said, when one feels anxious, the breathing pattern changes naturally. And so the cycle carried on until he sat on the floor, and then the anxiety symptoms naturally went away. But now, every time Tim would push himself physically, he was afraid something would happen to him. So the worrying thoughts made him feel anxious, and that started his breathlessness. And the cycle started again. The important thing to remember is that when we experience a panic attack, symptoms related to the fight or flight response can surge quickly, but will naturally calm down. And these physical sensations are not harmful. They are there to protect us from imminent harm, and sometimes can be activated when there's no threat, similar to a false alarm. Hope you've learned a bit more about how breathlessness and panic are connected, and sometimes work in tandem to prolong your difficulties. How we can think and influence how we feel and what we do sometimes. For more information on how to differentiate the symptoms of panic with something more severe, please talk to your responsible clinician and specialist team. Thank you.